All the way from Highway 46, Oakpine Elementary. You got Mr. Braden Pendergrass, Miss Harmony Tate, and Miss Claire Porteridge.
March 3rd, along with several hundred public high school students from across the state. EOC testing will begin April 21st. Our Red Hawks have been working hard in their classes to prepare for these important exams. We wish them the best of luck and encourage each student to stay focused, confident, and do their best. In sports, Winter Guard placed fourth at their SCGC competition in Athens, Alabama last week. The team is improving weekly and they're looking forward to the SCGC championships on March 28th at Western Kentucky University. Last week, CWHS Track and Field competed in the Ravenwood High School March Madness Invitational and achieved 13 personal records, including 2 new school records. Lily Sun set a new ladies' discus record, and Jaden Howes established a new gentleman record in the 400 meters with a time of 50 seconds and 50.36. Our Lady Red Hawk softball team is currently 6-5. Recently, they finished in the top 4 at the Commando Classic hosted by Hendersonville High School. Our Red Hawk soccer season has been off to a great start, and they are looking forward to next week's match. Girls tennis is currently 9-1 in the district, while our boys are undefeated. They're having a wonderful season and looking forward to more in the postseason. In clubs, construction students recently participated in the Skills USA state competition in Chattanooga. Griffin Decker, Elliott Dulworth, Parker Rovers, and Lincoln Span competed in teamworks. Dalen Rougemont competed in masonry. Brady Goddard competed in automotive maintenance and light repair, and Christian Carlew competed in heavy equipment operation and finished 3rd in the state. Several of our criminal justice students also competed at the state Skills USA competition last week. They placed 2nd in the state in crime scene investigation. We are so proud of them. Our HOSA Club will host the Survive the Celebration event tomorrow, March 27th, working closely with local community emergency service organizations. This impactful event is designed to show seniors the harsh realities and consequences of impaired driving. Our HOSA Club will also travel to Chattanooga to participate in the State Leadership Convention over spring break. Students will have the opportunity to observe and attend workshops, meet with state leadership officers, and compete in many healthcare-based events. Creekwood FFA members have been focused on the state convention the past few weeks, preparing for the FFA Quiz Bowl, Farm Business Management, and Environmental Natural Resources Career Development events. In closing, Creekwood High School continues to be a place where students are challenged, supported, and inspired to succeed. None of these accomplishments would be possible without the dedication of our students, the guidance of our teachers and staff, and the continued support of this board and our community. Thank you for your time, your commitment to our schools, and your investment in the success of students. We are proud to represent Creekwood and look forward to all that is coming. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good evening. Tonight, I have a few updates to share about Dickson County High School from this past month. To begin, I would like to cover some news about our hardworking student athletes. Our boys soccer team is headed to the Smoky Mountain Cup in Gatlinburg tomorrow morning, and they will play in the tournament until Sunday. The Cougar and Lady Cougar track teams have been doing quite a bit of racing, with meets on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. We are proud of their hard work leading into spring break. Our Lady Cougars flag football team is 2-2 as of yesterday when they defeated Northwest 46-0. Brene Snow was awarded Max Prep's Player of the Game. They play again tonight against Montgomery Central and tomorrow against Fairview. Good luck and keep up the good work, ladies. In other news, a special congratulations goes to Jacob Butler as he was accepted into the Tennessee Governor's School for the Arts for Vocal Music this summer. I would also like to congratulate the DCHS Choir. Over 1,000 students auditioned for the ACDA Festival. Special shout out goes to Jacob Butler, Bethany Dowd, Sophie Owen, and Adriana Springer. For more excellent students, the following are recognized for being part of the President's List based on college-level coursework: Blake Montgomery, Gavin Franklin, Luke Roth, Jordan Fink, Alex Smiley, Audrey Herbert, Alea McCann, and Sophia St. Pierre. The Dean's List includes Brianna Alvarex and Riley Davidson. DCHS held a talent show co-hosted by the Drama Club and the Music Honor Society. This event was in celebration of Music in Our Schools Month. Third place went to Posey Bridges. Second place went to the duet between Olivia Robertson and Sawyer Howard. And first place went to Dalen Wilson, who performed an original rap. Another celebration of Music in Our Schools month was Dress Up Week, the week of March 16th. Monday was musical theme, Wednesday was country, Thursday was pop, and Friday was rock. This was a fun way to honor the arts. That's not all of the fun events happening on the Hill, as Dance Off is on the way with competition days being April 24th and 25th. This year looks a bit different with team colors being pink, green, and navy. Teams have been hard at work preparing for the big nights. We're excited for this year's Dance Off in the Den and to raise money for our school. Speaking of fundraisers, DCHS JAG hosted a clothing drive this past month in which over 250 clothing items were donated. On March 16th, underclassmen took either the ACT, pre-ACT, or the ASVAB, while our seniors had a virtual day. The last event I must mention is the school play coming up this April. The 10th through 12th and the 17th through 19th. This play is Grease. The drama department has been working hard and are sure to impress with another great show. To close tonight, I would like to give some updates regarding recognitions and graduation updates. Our 50-day countdown to graduation has begun, and today marks only 32 days until our seniors' school days, until our seniors walk down the hill. Our medalist and citizenship awards were announced this month, and I'm pleased to share with you some excellent students both academically and character-wise. These are the honorable mentions for the Boys Citizenship Award: Jordan Fink, Aaron Mraz, Blake Montgomery, and Alex Smiley. And the Citizenship Award was honored to Zeke Daniel. And then honorable mentions for the girls: Keely Bratton, Sarah Potter, and Brene Snow. The honor was awarded to Shawnee Brooks. Bronze medalist was Sarah Potter. Silver medalist was awarded to Blake Montgomery, and gold medalist was awarded to Evie Steidel. We are so proud of our seniors. And I also have the events that are coming up because I know you can't really remember it after I talk fast.
Sarah, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Yes.
If we dress 50 style, do we get a discount? Okay.
I'll pay double.
Okay, Madam Chair, I would like to, with your permission, go back and recognize 3 of our students from Dickson County High School in Creekwood. So if I could get Dr. Marvin to come forward, and Annabelle Williams, who won first place at the Good Lark Educational Foundation essay. She is first place winner. Second place winner, Jaden Howes, Creekwood, won $1,000. And third place winner, Isaac Epley, Dickson County High School, $500 place winner. Wow. So congratulations to each of you. Thank you.
Next, we're going to move to instruction.
Madam Chair, we spoke about Brightwell at our planning session tonight. We are asking that you approve this platform for our daycare centers. It will manage in a bill program, and I think that you had the opportunity to listen to Ms. Sue Stringfield in regards to this. I think that it will make the process very fluid and aligned. I know that Mr. Hall spoke highly of this platform, and so that's what the ask will be.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the Brightwell. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have CTE.
Motion to approve the Floor Explorer.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Ford Explorer for CTE. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have CTE pole barn.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion to approve and a second for the CTE pole barn. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we'll move to finance.
Well, many of you see in the audience, we are missing one of my directors. She is on vacation, Valerie. And so tonight, we are looking at our monthly report through February of 2026. You will see that our revenues and expenditures are both up compared to this time last year. Property tax and sales taxes are both up compared to this time last year. You will see that utilities are up significantly, and diesel fuel and gasoline. Diesel fuel's up and gasoline is down, and this is for Mr. Chadwick. We are paying $4.25 a gallon for diesel and $2.83 for gasoline. Are there any questions in regards to the financials?
Motion to approve monthly report.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the monthly financial report.
Question, please.
Discussion, yes.
On the utilities and with them being up, that it also has the roughly 3 months of the water leak at Creekwood in that. So
Yes.
that should level back off. Is that right?
I hope so, yes. Yes, we are having conversations with our principals in regards to utilities and how we can continue to decrease our expenditure there.
Thank you.
Ms. Thiel?
This is just about the format that we get this in.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just wondering, I've asked about this before, but instead of getting it where we only have a department total, is it possible that we could get it where we see the line items within that department?
Sure.
We get it that way when we get the quarterly report. It's just not like that. So, like we would know more about the utilities, how they're doing each month.
Okay.
And other things.
Yes.
If we have
I will
that.
make note of that, and I will share with Miss Valerie.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have budget amendments.
Yes, ma'am. For the FY26 budget amendments, we had on line item 43990.
That's something we
No, they're not.
Do you have a copy of
We
that?
don't have-
Look in your folders right here. It was placed as a, yes.
This right here. It's right here.
Yes, ma'am. So on line item 43990, where it says other charges for service, you will see the nursing 10 care. This is stellar money from the 10 care that wasn't included last year because we didn't have a base estimate. And Miss Mary is here, and she has shared the information in regards to this 10 care and how we are recovering some of our cost. Miss Mary, would you like to share anything, or does anyone have any questions in regards to this?
This is for 25, 26.
Yes, it's for this year.
So it's
Yes,
just
sir.
it's a revenue
It
increase.
is. Mhm. And also allocated $14K for nursing cameras, and that is on line item 726-10336.
Where will these cameras be
Before-
installed?
Christie,
Yes.
before we go that, are you changing these revenue items too
Let me see.
on page 2?
Well, mine looks a little bit different. On page 2.
Since it's in that middle column.
Yes, we are. Mhm. Sorry, I'm running off a couple of sheets here. I'm sorry, Mr. Parker. You said where are these cameras?
Yeah.
These cameras, I believe, will be placed in our nursing rooms at each of the schools. Miss Mary, do you have any other comments?
They'll be placed 2.0 medication.
Any other questions in regards to that line item? On line item 72120, 6K for nursing budget. Page 6. At the very bottom in the middle is total health service. Line item 44570 should be on page 1. At the bottom, contributions and gifts. We received a contribution from the Jackson Foundation of $302,855. We want to thank them, but that's for special projects.
Would you repeat that number again?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not because it's
It's
not
not
on
on
our
our
sheet.
It's not on your sheet. Okay. 44570.
And how much is the?
It's to the cost of $302,855. And what I will do after the session, I will make you a copy of my notes, and then you can go back if you need to.
Can you help me out on the $14,000 for the cameras? What line that is?
Yes, 72610 336.
What page?
It is 13.
One more time on the number.
Okay, 72610 336. Under operation of plant, it's the third one
Got it.
down.
Got
Yes, sir. Okay.
So are we moving this money inside of its category? Is
Yes.
that
Yes,
what
sir.
you're asking? That everything is revenue except this is
It's money in, money out.
right.
The money
Yes.
wasn't in their original budget. We brought it in for Medicare reimbursement. So we want to use some of that money to place it. The
Good.
money wasn't in the original budget.
But now that we got the revenues from the 10 care that we have it now.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
71300. That would be on page 5. 730 is our CTE allocation. And that you'll see that's through the ISM grant.
We don't have an amount for that either.
Mr. Derrick, on that allocation, was that money in, money out there? Yeah, it's 60 and then 60. Yeah, so that was money in, money out from that grant.
That'll be for that.
Yes.
That's where Valerie, you can put it to that line up.
Jackson grant money this is where it's going back out.
Yes. It'll be at 71,307.30 as an equipment line item.
That's 302,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It'll be a total of that. Yes.
Can we know what we're purchasing with that?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And we are very grateful for that
Yes, we are.
donation. And I will have a card here for all of you to sign next month. Let's see, I lost my place. Okay, 46510. And that's on page 2. That is TISA payments decreased of $10K. And then you will see it falls in line with the TISA 71100 595, and it's on page 3 toward the bottom. TISA on behalf payments, and that's a decrease of $70K. Then 71200 we had an increase of $60K. Back to page 2, 49700. We had an increase in the insurance recovery of $110,000. With that increase, we allocated $64,000 to maintenance, which was on line 72620. And we had an increase of $46,000 to transportation, line item 72710. That was on page 14.
Is that the remainder of that 110?
Yes.
On that,
Yes, ma'am.
so where are we on the other insurance recoveries that is going to be, I guess, about the gutters and those things? What's the status of I don't know if we have an amount for that.
I don't think so. I have not been told of an amount yet. Gerald, you want to?
We don't have the insurance amount. I spoke with the insurance consultant this morning.
So we hope to have something by next month to share in that. Thank you, Mr. Clifton. So in the fund balance, we had a decrease of $1,990,193. We allocated $915,057 to curriculum, and that is in line item 71100,449. 71100,449. We also allocated $300,000 for student Chromebooks, and that is line item, same page, page 3, 71100,722.
What's the curriculum for?
Science. And you will see that we are in the process of our literature. The state halted the adoption year, so we're in a 3-year lull time. And so we are purchasing curriculum for 3 years, just the replenishable materials for that. So you will see that cost.
Was that in the 915 or is that in addition to?
That is in, which we will discuss.
Okay. So the
The
915 is
science
just science.
is in the one-time expenses and the high school ELA, because it is a one-time cost, but the elementary ELA will be divided into 3 years. And so that will be a part of our regular budget. And we'll talk about that tonight with the one-time expenses.
But again, it's the 915 high school ELA and science.
Yes. Yes. And then we have buses 72710,729.
How many buses is that?
We are looking at 2 special education buses and 5 Class D buses, so 7.
The special educations are Class D's too.
Yes, well, I guess they are either. Yes.
Yes.
So, and then 5 Class
Class
D,
D.
84 passenger
84.
diesel
Yes, sir.
with the lights and the stop signs.
I didn't get into those details.
Well,
but
you,
Miss-
you have to,
Miss Melissa-
because sometimes
we did not.
they'll buy our middle school a
Yeah.
transit bus if we don't make sure they have
Yes,
lights and stop signs sometimes.
Yeah.
So
they're not stripped buses.
Okay.
And then the fund balance decreased 17 million. That's the 177 fund balance. And that those are capital outlay projects.
So do we have a list of those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so if you go to your notebook or your folder that says 2026-27 budget, you will see a sheet that looks like this. And I have placed what we asked our county commission for. And you will see capital improvement which includes Charlotte Middle School and the transportation building. Then you will see capital outlay, which would include, these capital outlays would include the 17 million from fund balance, which would include projects for Dickson Middle School, Dickson County High School roof, William James Middle School roof, and safety upgrades. Then you will see the 2 million that was asked for one-time expenses, which is the science curriculum, the school buses, and I want you to know we did purchase one type C just to fit that in there. I just noticed that. But if we need to change that to a D, we can do that.
Highly recommended.
And then on the restricted fund balance, and that is, we received a donation from the Jackson Foundation, and it was to the tune of, I think, almost a little over, well, it wasn't a little over, it was significantly, I believe, over $1 million, but it was several years ago. And so we still have money out of that fund to utilize. And so that's where we were going to put the technology and the high school ELA for the cost of $535,792.
Say that amount again, please.
$535,792.69 is the total.
Sorry, did you give a total for the one-time expenses?
It will change just a little bit. It's right at $2 million.
Okay.
When I go back and do the addendum of the Type D bus, then I will add that to that cost. We're right there with the threshold of 2 million. But all of those projects are what we have brought over the last month to discuss, except for the restricted fund balance. And that's money that's there that was gifted to the school district.
So what about the playground equipment that we discussed?
We have put that back in the 26-27 maintenance, our capital outlay,
Van Leer.
and for the Discovery School.
Was Van Leer's, was it damaged because of the storm, or it's just been in that condition?
It was not damaged because of the storm.
That's not still.
No. Mm-mm. Gerald, do you know right off the top of your head what the problems are with that playground? I think there's a big crack in the.
There's a lot of cracks.
Yeah.
That's made with that composite wood. It's just the degradation setting out in the sun. And a lot of cracks, and you had to close it. 71,200.
Is that back on the form, Mr. Chadwick? Repeat those numbers for me, Mr. Chadwick.
71.
Okay.
200.
So he's asking. Oh, special education program. That is our personnel teachers and our speech pathologist, assistants, the retirements, medical, contracted services there. And then where was the other one? So
72,220.
page 8.
Same.
Yes. This one right here is Miss Johnson, who is the director. And then you see the one is for programs with all of the teachers and assistants and contracted on page 4. And then this is Miss Johnson, supervisor director, and other personnel that fall into this category. Other contracted services and supplies on page 8.
We haven't had a planning session since our,
last weekend.
we haven't had a planning session on our, capital improvements, capital outlays since the county commission meeting. And of course, I know, prior the board did, we kind of decided that and allocated the 47 million, the magic number, the $47 million worth of projects. And I'm not saying that what is currently under capital outlay. I mean, we all decided and we all know that all these things have to be done. There's 3 roofs in that project right there in capital outlay, and of course they all need to be done. Dickson High School is a necessity, but we haven't really decided. I guess we don't have an answer from the county commission on what we're going to get. So I wonder if the board needs to decide how to spend this $17 million out of fund balance and not just go with what fits. Because I don't know that administration, offices, and auditorium, as they all need to be done. There's no doubt. I just don't know that is more important than something like a transportation building that floods when it rains, or other things that need to be done at Charlotte that might not be the addition, because we obviously wouldn't be able to afford it, but maybe we could afford some of it. I don't know. We haven't really had a discussion about that since we got the turn down on the 47.
We just have to keep the capital improvements separate, and that transportation building being a new building would probably fall under capital improvement. And for us to get money from the county commission like we've requested, we have to show what we would use that money for. That's why both of those are under the capital improvement. Like if we used our fund balance for transportation, like you're saying, we wouldn't have enough under the capital improvement for what we've requested.
And I guess I understand you don't want to borrow money for something that's going to wear out in the time that the money's borrowed. I understand that. So, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense, but it's just it's an unknown of the decision that they're going to make. So we're making a decision, hoping that we're doing what they're asking us to, so that they can make a decision, and we might end up with nothing.
And this is
And we're going to
basically,
spend our $17 million on what they want us to, it's because we think it's in the right line, where we don't actually know that we're going to get anything to do our actual improvements of other things that we can't afford. I guess is what I'm saying, if that makes any sense, you know. But I get what you're saying.
you're talking about the two pieces. They might bid
Right.
in going ahead and commit to the 17 when we don't know
Once
if
we
we're going to
once
get
we
the other.
commit to it and we don't know that we're going to get the other, I mean, it seemed like a, you know, I don't know that it's going to be a unanimous vote for sure. Didn't seem like it when I watched it, but you know, once we commit our $17 million, not everything needs to be done. We've all agreed that it needs to be done. We didn't necessarily agree in an order that it needed to be done. I mean, I understand the aspect of borrowing money, and you want it to outlast the amount of time of borrowed money, and that's why the bigger projects will be spent with the borrowed money from the county versus our money there. But you know, I mean, we also doing 3 roofs. That's a lot of roofs. Dickson High School no doubt needs to be done. I believe we did 3 roofs last year. It's a lot of roofs that we've done with our money in a lot of my time where we haven't, we'll say, shown anything, you know. And really, I look at I look at our fund balance money. You know, I think we need to be buying things like our playground equipment. That's 60 because they're $60,000 a pop. So every time we buy playground equipment, it costs us 60. You know, I feel like that's kind of more of what the fund balance money is for, as it is for the improvements. I know I'm just rambling and don't matter now, but it is what it is, I guess. But
Well, I'd like to piggyback on what Aaron is saying because we did, I think, agree. We've talked about all of these things. At the time that we talked about these, playground equipment being torn down, not available, was not something that we even knew about. And so I had much rather see playground equipment on here, but if we're trying to stick with this 17 million, because we don't know what we might have in our next budget that we've got to produce in the next few weeks. But I just think we have not, as a body, had time to even really put those in a specific order. Like I know I have also mentioned some things at Creekwood that needs to be done in their auditorium. But if we present this in this way, then for sure the Creekwood auditorium is not going to be on this list. Now it may come out of additional fund balances in years to come, or perhaps it'll go into some other line item next year. But I just don't think as a body we have discussed the detail of this to say yes, I'm in agreement with all of these things and eliminating some of the other things.
Mr. Chadwick?
Is there, it's all of the Van Leer playground equipment and big piece in the front. Other things. It gets usable this time. The one big piece in the front, if you're staying out there,
But they have other playground equipment they're using currently.
Yes.
yes, ma'am. Kids, age groups and all that. Need that equipment worse than we need to tear down all open. the different headings here.
And I don't know why we can't just add that as another topic under it. Because we don't know how much of this we're gonna be able to do anyway, but if it's not listed on there, we won't be able to do it.
Rob?
You got anything, Mr. Robin? That means
Like I
no.
do.
I'm curious.
Thanks to start for a few minutes. I just wanted the opportunity to hear.
I'll just share my thoughts. I mean, I feel a little like I understand exactly what you're saying, as I don't disagree. I feel a little like we're just behind. I mean, this whole list came to us as a package that was sitting there waiting for funding that needs to be done. So I think you're right. In the time since we first saw some of this last July, obviously, in 8 months, new things are continuing to come up. And I think that's our challenge, is where we stop and sort of say the deal what's been waiting already for years. Leaking roofs, my building. But you're right. Take a moment before we finalize. Is there anything that's come up in the last 8 months that maybe we also need to add? If it feels like it's on a par with the things already on the list. But somewhere we also have to draw the line and say, this is for today, what we're going to pass and ask for.
Mr. Haley.
I'm
Stay the wheels turning.
I'm gonna be getting to item 5D pretty much because it all plays together. And I guess I thought most of that would fall down there. All of you, I'm sure at this point, have watched the county commission meeting, and I think our takeaways might be a little bit different. So here's my takeaway. Here's what I heard said and what direction I think might answer a lot of your questions. I didn't hear them turn down our resolution for $47 million for capital improvements. The difference in the improvements is you're adding space, remodeling buildings, doing some intense work. Capital outlays what's in our regular budget for maintenance and taking care of things, extensive things as much as roofs. And they have piled up for several years. We have done more in the last 3 years than we've done since I've been here at one time, but we were behind. We were behind about 10 or 12 buildings. So we're making some good progress. I watched a board member that's not here on this board now discuss with our then director that we had to make a choice of what people see and touch and feel walking into a building versus what they don't see, touch and feel. And that year we chose to do what they didn't see, touch and feel, which was part of the high school. While they kept them dry, it did a lot of work on that building. It didn't do the whole building. Yet the next year it was job done at the buildings. So they're not going to see these roofs. They're not going to see the things that we put in the $47 million capital improvement plan. There's nothing in that plan. We've all discussed this and we all know there's nothing in that plan that doesn't need to be done. And I say that because that's big projects. But thinking back and watching that meeting again, we didn't get told no on the $47 million. Although I think that was an implication. We as a board voted a resolution for that work, and that resolution is effectively still on the table. What I did hear them say is that they weren't comfortable doing, I heard a motion and a second, they weren't comfortable doing that with the information we provided to them. The reply back was, we can't get into detailed drawings unless we have money or know we're going to be spending that money towards those improvements, because if not, we're wasting money that we could be buying the playground set with, we could be buying the lighting with, we could be fixing bleachers that we've had to remove. There's lots of things we could have been doing with that money. I don't want to do that again. So I did hear them say that, I heard one say that if you had a $17 million resolution for the other things, I'd approve it tonight. And I think the reply back, and this is to bring all of you up to speed and the people that are watching, the reply back was that 17 million came from a calculated place. We talked about 15 million of our money going into this then $45 million project. We had to cut things back to get there. When our reserve money came back from last year's audit, there was roughly $4 million that we expected to be there. There's an expectation we'll be there next year's audit too. We can't spend next year's audit money now. We're not allowed to by our funding body. And quite frankly, I'm glad we're not, because we could spend the next 10 years if we were allowed to do that. So we're spending money from fiscal year 25's revenues that weren't allowed to be budgeted in the annual budget. Part of them more or less why our budget was in the red. It has been red every year we've been here. I've been here, but it's a calculated number based on a portion of what revenues historically have come in. It's a formula for that. So we anticipated roughly 4 million, and it came out a hair higher. I think we were 36,990 something. So it was about 4 million higher than what we talked about when we discussed the 15 million. That's when Madam Chair made the motion to take 2 million of that forward and put towards this capital plan. That's where we went from 15 to 17, tied with the money that was projected for the last 12 plus years by the county plan that we could put towards schools. That's where the 47 million came from. And that stumbling block seemed to be detailed information, but it's also detailed information that you can't provide until you have the money allocated for that. So we're kind of at a toss up there. So leaving there, I felt like, had y'all given me permission to ask for a $17 million amendment that night, they may have voted on it. They said they would, but I don't know that wouldn't have actually hurt the schools in the long run, because of that 4 million from last year's audit, there was still 2 that we discussed at budget time this year, that we had some items that need to be one-time expenses. That money can be used for one-time expenses. It can't be used for payroll. It can't be used for raises. It can't be used for recurring expenses. It can't be used to shore a budget up, because it's not recurring every year. It's one time. So we knew these buses were coming up. We knew the curriculum was coming up. We knew the Chromebooks were coming up. We knew some of the other items were coming up. It's easy enough to put a playground set in there if we get the money. And I think the time will come to decide what's more important to you and me. Is it a playground, or is it lights at that auditorium, or can we get them both in? The playground set comes from deferred maintenance. We have to address that. That's us on our annual reserve money. Some items, school wishes, need to be done on the list we talked about at the work session a few weeks ago. Keep an annual list of things that are running that school would like to have. What is our responsibility? What's activity fund responsibility? That's for another discussion, but everything doesn't fall inside of our category. Playground definitely does. So you...
On the budget amendments that I mentioned tonight, we took on line 46510. We received TISA outcome bonus money, and that was to the tune of $441,169. We allocated those funds for allocated utilities and for playground equipment, and you will see that on page 13. 7261070. Other equipment, that's that 110 for the Van Leer and the Discovery School playground. So if you approve these amendments, then that's where those 2 playground pieces will come out of. So I'm sorry that you read to you, but I forgot about that, and I thought we just read that on the amendments.
I'm speaking more of processes of where do we as a board go, and from the process standpoint, that resolution didn't get voted yes or no. So I guess theoretically,
It's still on the
ask
table.
Mr. Hall, it's still on the table. if somebody in the county commission were to take that up and make a motion at their next meeting to, let's vote that and see where it goes. Let's vote that resolution they asked for. We officially, by vote, requested what our schools needed. We did that by money we know we have, by money that we saved for the projects, and by a fiscal plan put out by the county legislative body over the years that said in 2023-24, you'll have $32 million put towards capital improvements. We're in 2026, and that amount has changed to 30 million for interest rate changes, for whatever changes that are out there. But we're not going asking to get 30 million from the taxpayers. This is money they have access to through a bond that's already in their budget that doesn't raise taxes. So a county commissioner may look at that after that meeting and say, we didn't vote on that. And it may get brought back up, and it may not. What I'd like to see us be ready for is we go back to that work session, April the 6th. We don't meet again until after their regular session, that we as a group have agreed to our reserve money request, 17 million of which are going to capital outlay. The other amount, where we decide whether it's extra 2 million, 2.2, 2.5, whatever we need, we'll have information on things that we need to put it towards, but I don't think we're in a position to spend what we don't have approved yet, to spend time discussing which exact items. I have a little bit of reservation about making that amendment have a revenue piece to it. We have end of year amendments for the audit coming up also. So there's several ways to address that, but I think here and now tonight, I would like to see us approve, if necessary, for the chair or the chair's designee, whether it be the director, whether it be one of you, or whether it be me, have that ability, if they don't ever pass that resolution for what we approved, to say that we do have a request voted on by the board to transfer 19 million from our reserve funds, 17 in the capital outlay, 2 million in the annual expenses. At that time, we can look at that revenue adjustment for the other $500,000. We need something in place where we're not going back and forth cat and mouse. I think showing the need for that 47 is still our best piece. Does that make any sense? I think you rambled.
And that's where I was going to go over there with our, 4 million added, and this makes 17. But we are, if the 47 would have passed, we were going to take the 2 and buy curriculum and buses with it.
They were told that if they passed a $47 million resolution, that we'll be back next month with amendments for the other roughly $2 million. The goal being, my goal being, and this is mine, I've heard different figures from finance and from our director. I've heard different numbers from our county mayor. And quite frankly, the number that I've pitched is spends less money than what the county says would be a safe number for us to spend. We do have some restricted funds inside that reserve. That's why you see the projected fund balance of $13,748,000. You've got the restricted funds. You also have next year's audited revenues that won't be in there. So I've stayed in the $18 million mark. I know that the schools here were fine with 15 million, and I don't disagree with them. I don't want to speak for the director. That's just a general number I've heard at different places inside the system. But I've also heard from the county that as long as we're above 12 million, that's a good reserve. The state doesn't require half that. We're well above the state requirement. So my debate with them was, this is money that we have for our kids. Keeping it in an account doesn't do any of us any good, but also piecing it out a little bit at a time, we don't get the big bang for our buck. We might not pick a project, the bigger projects, to go with some of the smaller ones that can give them the best job. So I think authorizing our chair to say that we've agreed to 19 million from the reserves. Should we not get the 47 million as an alternative? It's not the best alternative. And it's going to probably leave us scraping pennies to try to get our maintenance department what they need. And when I say need, if you haven't gone to visit, leave the confines of this very tight, overpacked, need to replace office in itself, because it does. But that's even more tight, compact when we can't get buses in the door. We've had that argument before. But as
So
far
the
as
extra 2 million, I'm sorry to interrupt. The extra 2 million that you're talking about when you're saying 19 versus 17 is for
The curriculum.
curriculum.
it's for whatever the
buses.
board chooses, but
Yeah,
we
what-
said being a budget year, it would be for the curriculum and for the buses and the one-time expenses. So I think
Yeah.
she's done a great job making a list of what those items would be. But I think when you take this to the county commission in lieu of a $47 million resolution we've already passed and say, give them this document and they see the pluses and the minuses and what feeds each category, then it's going to be more complicated than what they're asking
Thank
for.
you.
So I think to give them a list of the items such as these things, and then we will spend to the best of our ability to get all we can out of that. If we can't, we'll have to afford on the next one or find in our budget. I think that will still get us, especially with that revenue change. That if that revenue changes, then I'm okay even if we went 19.5. I told the county commission, if you look, they said bring the 17 million back. I said it won't be 17, it'll be 19.5 because we already had the 2.5 million expenses that we knew were going to be there. I don't want our kids to leave that on the table because of piecing it apart. We lose 2 million, 5 spots. They've lost 10 million worth of benefit. I'd rather go back and say we need $47 million, like we said first, because we're getting almost too far away from it. Yeah, it's good. The planning's there. The details are there.
Okay, I've got to go back because I'm thinking the same as you. Are you needing any amendments approved at this time with the county commission for the revenue? Because we can't put the 17 and all the stuff that's not approved. To me, we can't put that in there and take that as an amendment. But the other stuff where you've switched categories,
We need to.
y'all need to do it now. That's my question.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so why do we have to do that now where we've just done? I mean, like, I know that
Are you saying we need to do it now so we can use it for playground and whatever?
Yes.
That's why we need to.
But
Because
if-
she's moving TISA money
I'm
over to the
moving TISA
playground
money. The TISA money.
So
has
it
to
will be
spent
there
by June 1.
immediately.
Well, we can move it inside the category. That doesn't go to
That's
the
right.
commission, right?
But the TISA money has to be spent out by June 1.
Yeah, we
So
can,
that's why that amendment would be important.
that's just us.
But that's what I'm trying to get cleared up. Does it have to, is it a requirement that revenue be moved over?
I think so.
I mean, do we have to amend our revenue number before they can spend it as an expense? So we have to
Yes.
take something to them to amend the revenue. I'm asking, I don't know. And Valerie's not here for me to ask.
Valerie said these amendments have to be approved.
Well, then,
So I agree they do have to be approved, but
I don't know how we
they're
can
tied
approve.
together.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how we can have the 17 million in there and the extra 2 we're asking for when that's not been approved by them yet,
I think that 2 is actually about 2.5 because of that revenue.
or maybe 2.
Can I defer to Mr. Hall a question?
Yes, please.
And can we do it in 2 stages and have what we need ready? But with that revenue, it would be basically the 17 for the capital outlay, the 2 that we had coming in for the individual items, plus any revenue amendments. So it'll be 19 plus the 451,169, it'd be 19, 451,169 total, which puts us at the 19.5
Yes,
that
I
they
think
were
so.
told to begin with. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, Mr. Hall.
I think you can do it that way. It might be cleaner, to Ms. Brogdon's point, to just do this revenue amendment for the TISA change. And then we've got that approved, we can take it to them, clean, whatever. But then you could go ahead, like you said previously, and pass a proposed amendment for the 19 based on the last county commission meeting, and empower Ms. Brogdon or her designee to make that request to the county commission. Because having watched the meeting and talked to several people, I don't think they voted it up or down either. And so from a parliamentary procedure standpoint, that's what was presented is dead in the water at the commission. And so, I mean, I think this body could either send back the $47 or $49 million request, or, like you said, submit a $19 million request. And I think that's, I mean, then the commission can decide if they want to, obligate $30 million to get us the most bang for the buck for the capital improvement.
Let me ask it this way. We don't meet again before their April regular session, but would it be beneficial to present at their work session April the 6th? We have a work session on the 9th, maybe to have a special called meeting if we have to do something then, so we'd be ready for the April County Commission meeting?
I think that would be prudent, yes.
Madam Chair, what do you think about that?
I mean, we have no choice at this point.
I
Because if now here's my question. Do we need to present, like Mr. Haley is saying, we're going to have to present something else to them at their work session if the previous resolution is dead because nobody voted on it? That's, in your opinion.
In my opinion, that's dead, but I haven't talked to the county attorney about that, but that's.
So since it wasn't acted on that month, it would be dead.
Right. Because it wasn't otherwise disposed of or tabled, so there wasn't even really a motion on the table to vote on it. So it was just information into the body. And so either somebody at the commission would have to bring it back up and make a motion for the 30 million plus our 17 for the total of 47, or we can take 17/19 million dollar amendment to them next month
Instead of the whole package.
instead of the whole package, because they didn't take action on the whole package the last time. So, I mean, I'm left with the conclusion that they don't want to take action.
So with that said, then we probably need to approach from the 19 and a half, figuring the half being this TISA revenue, and put on there 17 million towards those capital.
But the half in the TISA revenue,
But the half in the TISA revenue is in the 25-26 budget.
yes.
So you're not talking about amending on the 19 into the 25-26 budget. You're talking about the 26-27 budget.
I'm talking about the 25-26. If they approve it, go in and we can start working.
Okay.
First.
Well, but
So the things that she had allocated to on this sheet, because she's already allocated the TISA over for the playground equipment, some of that other stuff. You're wanting to pull that out too and put it in the 19.5. I mean, if she moves the revenue over and
all this stuff falls in
amendment,
2.5, doesn't it? All these expenses fall within the 2.5 million, right?
but we were saying the 2, not pulling it out if we're amending just the revenue part. The 2 was not going to be in it.
I would think we would put that in this year's budget too. We'd ask for the 19 from our reserves along with this 4.
Per
69. So we're asking for 19.5 for round numbers. Of that 19.5, 17 the capital outlay for these projects, 2.5 for one-time expenses to include things such as curriculum, buses, number of buses, get major detail, but leave some flexibility for the things we need to add to it. I think format is a big thing. This
Right.
format
Yeah, they're not.
is too much for them.
Okay.
Yeah. I think moving this parking from that is going to probably make it difficult. But they know that we are looking for 2.5 million of our money to go towards these things. This is better than what I told them because it has a revenue increase too. So it should come out fine.
And I need to put the words such as on the top.
Well, that's just the words I use because
Facilities
that you
such
think
as that it
it'll all
doesn't
fit,
hold.
it'll fit. But it doesn't include the things that I think if you itemize it too much, it'll make it fit. That's just my opinion. That's Mr. Hall. I mean, he's the one that's going to be defending me when I'm wrong. Y'all too.
Could be adding curriculum and buses.
Ms. Brogdon,
Yes. Put such
do you think that there is a possibility to, if we're talking about a special call session, to have a work session prior and plan your special call session for, say, 8 p.m., where it gives us an hour or two or whenever as a work session prior? Is that a possibility?
I think that's after the work session. That's April 9th. They're meeting.
But I think, are you saying if we have to
If you're gonna
we
have
have
a
to
special
present-
call session and we have to present prior,
I
then
think he's saying if we have to present it April 6th, we're going to have to do something before April 6th.
I think we can do that tonight.
Okay.
We can do a general.
Ms. Thiel.
I think it is very confusing this way. Also, having listened to the county commission meeting and, the things that we've talked about, I almost think if the 17 million is there and then the 2.5 million is listed, the presentation where it's listed separately or some way so that, they know that through other sources where we're getting additional income and doing these things, that with that, we are going to do these items, the playground equipment, curriculum.
Separate out the ones we have the revenue already to cover.
Right.
Revenue
Because I think
increase.
it's just going to be very confusing to them. It's very confusing to me, and I've been at all of our meetings. So I just think the simpler that we can make this presentation, and they've already, you said it may be more than 17 million. You stated that. However, I still think if we somehow classify this is 17 million, we're going to do the 2.5 with revenues and the other things and list some of those things out. It'll just be easier for them to understand. It would be easier for me to understand anyway.
I want to make a motion. Miss Mary is ready. We have to back up a time or two, okay? Make a motion to approve, to request an amendment to our budget fiscal year 26 amount of 19,500,000, which will include 17 million for capital outlay as indicated by attached document that shows the schools minus Charlotte. 2.5 million going to one-time expenses. to include items in this document moved to a single sheet. It will show the expense and revenues. Total 19.5 on the budget amendment.
So your amendment is, I want to make sure I understand, is just these items plus whatever's in here.
For
Okay.
$17 million to go towards capital outlay projects. Itemized location, we do Dickson Middle, William James roof, Dickson High School roof, safety upgrades.
Reread your motion.
I was hoping so.
To approve a request for an amendment to the FY 26 budget for $19.5 million, which would include $17 million from the conceptual list of capital projects as indicated by the attached document, $2.5 million going to one-time expenses to include items in a statement of proposed operations dated 3/25/26.
Be good. To be used at the discretion of the board chair or designee. To be presented at discretion of the board chair and designee.
Yeah, to be presented.
Not you, not presented. While she's typing, Ms. Hill, I think that gives us some latitude on some of those items.
I didn't hear those latitudes, let me say that. I did not hear that in this.
I don't think in this type of a motion that I can itemize everything without missing something in the process, though. I think it gives us some discretionary use of that.
So it covers the playground equipment because that's in this.
It does, but it doesn't cover the auditorium stuff at Creekwood that is broken.
My motion does not include that, but I think if there's stuff broken, I would ask that you send that to the director and she would probably.
Which I have shared.
Thank you.
To approve a request for an amendment to the FY 26 budget for $19.5 million, which would include $17 million from the conceptual list of capital projects as indicated by the attached document, and $2.5 million going to one-time expenses to include items in the statement of proposed operations dated 3/25/26 to be presented at the discretion of the board chair or designee.
You had one little few words in there at the very beginning to transfer from reserve funds, 19.5 million
To approve a request
to transfer funds. Transfer request would be good for reserve funds.
to approve a transfer request from school board reserve funds for amendment to the FY 26 budget for $19.5 million, which would include $17 million from the conceptual list of capital projects as indicated by the attached document, and $2.5 million going to one-time expenses to include items in the statement of proposed operations dated 3/25/26 to be presented at the discretion of the board chair or designee.
That's my motion. Very good.
Does the wording to include allow for other, say, such as, it would allow room plus funding.
Legal interpretation, yes.
Second.
Any other discussion? We have a,
Yes,
Miss Thiel.
I would, could I just hear what, Ms. Langley, will you restate what you asked him and his response?
I think my timing was off. Just the way that's worded, the 2.5 million is to include that list. It does allow more than that list. It's not limited to that list. The way that's phrased. So it still gives us some flexibility if we get the 2.5 to discuss again. It wouldn't be limited to that list.
And so, Mr. Hall, that's your interpretation of, because that's not what Mr. Haley, it's not how he answered me a while ago.
And I didn't hear the original question the first time, but I think that the way that I understand that motion and its intent was it would be the items that were presented for these amendments.
That's what I thought you said.
We might not get them all in there, but they don't get to it.
So
Because you left over, then you could have some variance, but not.
that's correct, but it has to include these items. It doesn't limit it to these items, but it has to include these items.
That $50,000.
If there's money left over, then there's more money for other items to include.
About 50,000 discretionary at that point, doing it that way.
Yes. But I'm not hearing that, so I'm just trying to understand how I'm voting based on the conversations.
If I take this list and look at the numbers on it and we do the 2.5 million, get that approved, and 17 goes towards the capital outlay projects, 2.5 for items from this list right here. Also, we'll have that revenue coming in too. So net is going to be right at $2 million.
Any other discussion or questions? We're going to vote on the motion as quoted by 4 times, right?
Ms. Brogdon, yes. Mr. Chadwick, yes. Mr. Haley, yes. Ms. Lampley, yes. Mr. Parker, yes. Ms. Thiel, no.
Motion carries. And does that get what you need? That does your part too. Next, we have fiscal year 27 budget. You have some comment on it? No statements. Then we'll move to maintenance. RFQ DCHS re-roofing.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Hall in regards to the architects, Lau, Cook, and Martin
Yep.
proposal.
Yeah, board members, item 4C1, we had talked about the re-roofing project at Dickson County High School and getting pre-qualified, a pre-qualification bid. So that's what this is. It's an invitation to submit qualification for the roofing project at the high school. Happy to answer any questions about it.
Do we need to approve this?
We do need to approve this, yeah.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve the RFQ for DCHS re-roofing. Do we have any other discussion?
This is to make sure the bidders are able to do the job. Is that
That's
right?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
It pre-qualifies the bidders.
Yep, perfect.
Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have gutter repair. Mr. Hall.
The board members, in your packets that I handed out separately is a copy of AIA document B701, which is a change order to the high school auditorium contract. And the reason we're doing this way is because we have a construction manager already in place that can oversee this gutter repair project. I talked to Lyle Martin at Lyle Cook Martin, and Lane Lyle, I'm sorry. I talked to Mr. Lyle, and he and I had a very long and thorough discussion about how it was almost impossible to properly scope and detail all of the gutters, and he recommended that we do a time and materials project or time and materials contract and run it through this construction manager, because the construction manager, Providence, we already have them on board to do the work, and they would oversee the emergent repair of and or replacement of gutters that couldn't be repaired. This would be a not to exceed number of $203,000 rather than the replacement cost. I mean, some of these gutters, according to Lane Lyle, could be repaired rather than having to be totally replaced. And so he recommended that we proceed on this basis. And he also recommended, right now before the rainy season sets in, we need to get this done and attended to. And I think that we can travel under the emergency basis and do this on a time and materials basis through our construction manager on this contract.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr.
Is this mostly due to ice damage on these
Yes.
gutters?
This is what we have the insurance claim in for, and will eventually be paid by that insurance, but it'll be, as Mr. Clifton said, it could be a while before we get the insurance money in. And Lane Lyle suggested that we go ahead and get the work done while we could, and had this construction manager on board.
So, since we don't know how much insurance we're going to get, nor when we're going to get that, should our amendments to the budget include this amount also? Or is that too early in the process? But I'm just thinking, if we're saying approve 203,000 or whatever,
I think it's probably too early in the process, because we could when we do our end of the year money in, money out budget, we'll be able to take care of this 203 then.
Okay, thank you.
That's my belief anyway. Miss Underhill's not here, so I may
Where's
be
it,
saying something out of school, but
where's the money come from until we get insurance? Where's it? What line items are going to come out of?
that's a good question.
Yes, you may.
I don't think you'll be seeing any money move on that until school's out. Play by then. Once there's a settlement decided, an amount, I mean, that check would be typically. Insurance is going to cover every penny of the 202. Maybe the price of doing business, because say I know there was $10,000 worth of contingency in the side of the AA document. Insurance is not going to cover $10,000.
Right.
We find more damage and we have to go do something else. We submit that to them on the backside, and then if it's legit, they'll cover it. And
So I believe, just looking at our line items, that it would come on page 13 under 72620,335, which is maintenance and repair services / buildings. And that's,
they'll come out services too.
But when insurance comes in, it has to be put into revenue and amended anyway, right?
so,
That would probably be better.
okay. So if it's other contracted services, we're already amending that budget by 64,000. So you're saying it wouldn't come under maintenance and repair
They could come under other contracted services.
services?
There's labor tied to it. She must take it under other contract.
Okay. Though the way we're bidding it out, we're doing, are you saying it'll be the two or just one? Right. Will it be? Well, because we're bidding it out, labor and materials. So materials, you think that's still other contracted services? Okay. Thank you. Okay.
I think that's better.
Sounds real similar to the work we did. When we did the carpet, we did it by sections and a kind of material type bid. And as they went in, they found some they could save and some they needed to replace. You're saying do it while we have a change order, have
Well, we have a construction manager still under contract.
I made some notes this time. If I can make a motion, but I wrote it down.
I guess I got a question, if it's all right.
Okay.
This is for all schools or just this high school?
No, it's all the gutter dams.
This is all, this is district wide, okay.
Yeah. And the amendment should have the whole list of them on there.
I mean, I don't really, I mean, I like the idea for sure, and I like everything about it, except I don't want to, I hate to vote it and we don't have the money. I hope that it comes in time for the guy to get done and pay him. I guess we can always go and,
Steve,
Yes, sir.
roof blows off the building, you don't have the money, but we put the roof on the building. It's gonna come back around. It may take a week or so.
It's going to come out of reserve no matter what you do. Even with insurance coming in, the insurance has to come into the revenue section. It will come out of reserves or a line item if it's there to begin with.
And we can't really request it till we know how much it's gonna be.
right, okay.
We can't not do it.
Mr. Parker, the list of all the.
Yeah, I see it now, yeah, thank you.
Mr. Haley.
I wrote it down this time. I won't stutter as much. Motion to approve a change order to Providence building contract as recommended by Law Cook Martin for emergency gutter repair in the amount not to exceed $203,662.07. $203,662.07.
That it? Is that the end of the motion?
That's the end of it.
I mean, you act like I thought you were writing down something spectacular. After the last one, you just wrote that one sentence. Steve. You could have said
Not
that.
even writing notes. I learned to write this time.
Second the motion.
We have a first and a second to approve the change order to Providence for the gutter work amount not to exceed $203,662.07 with maybe a few more words. Do you want to repeat what his motion was?
To approve a change order to the Providence Builders contract for time and materials as recommended by Lyle, Cook, and Martin for emergency gutter repair in the amount not to exceed $203,662.07.
Any other discussion?
One question. So the contract with Providence is not for time and materials, right? It's for project management, and they'll bid out for time and materials? Or are they doing the work also?
They're not doing the work, they'll sub the work for time and material.
So does this read like they're doing the work?
They'll just take the words for time and material out.
Yeah, just take this, just say to approve the change order for Providence. If you're amenable to that amendment.
As recommended
by
by Lyle, Cook, Martin for emergency gutter repair.
Then I'll put this change order in the minutes.
Other discussion or questions? Please. Next, we have human resources.
We have the two reports that you receive monthly, the Human Resources Report for March 2026, and then the graph of the report from February 2026.
I would like to announce Stephen Gerber, who will be retiring of 8 years within our JROTC instructor at Dickson County High School. We want to thank him for his service. And Stephanie Warren, ESL teacher at Burns Middle School, 20 years. So thank you to both of them for their service in the Dickson County school system.
Next, we will move to student services field trips.
Madam Chair, we have several field trips and they are going out of state. Ms. Thiel, I did find out from Chris Clapper that there is no cost for the field trip. The only cost to students is their meals. So, and I wrote that on this packet. So Creekwood Baseball will be headed out to Millington, Tennessee, March 31st through April 2nd. Dickson County High School, Tennessee TSA competition in Chattanooga, April 9th through the 12th. Technology students at Creekwood High School will go to Chattanooga Convention Center, in April. Dickson County High School students will have a state honor band and TNMEA conference at the Gaylord in April. Creekwood JROTC Cadet Leadership Challenge in May in Kentucky. Dickson County High School JROTC Cadet Leadership in Greenville, Kentucky in May. Dickson County High School Winter Guard Championship, Western Kentucky University this month. Dickson County High School Band Trip Performance at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida in March. Creekwood High School National Competition in Salt Lake City, Utah. That is our CTE, April and May. April 29th through May 2nd. And so those all sound like fun. So proud of these students and all the teachers that get these field trips together. And, it takes a lot of time to go to these great places, but it's great fun for students to see. I've never been to Salt Lake City, so congratulations to all of them. And I'll pass that for you to sign.
Move to approve. All.
Thank you.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve all field trips that were mentioned. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Now we have under administration policies.
First policy for second read is 1.901 charter school applications. There have been no changes from the first read last month or from the planning session earlier this month.
Motion to approve 1.91 on the second read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve policy 1.901 on second read. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have first read.
And one policy under first read is 5.500, the discrimination and harassment of employees. A couple of changes that were discussed at the planning session that you'll see reflected in the copy that's in BOE Connect. The definition of anti-Semitism has been added to this policy, and then the word identity was changed to identities on page 1, line 28, and page 2, line 4.
Move to approve 5.50 on the first read.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to approve policy 5.500 on first read. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is House Bill 1790. Yes, Ms.
that.
Bill.
This is the one where the bus driver's age would be reduced to 23, and that is currently has been sent to the Finance Ways and Means Committee subcommittee. So it's moving along.
Thank you for your work on this, Ms. Bill. Thank you.
Motion to approve resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve House Bill 1790. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have Director's Report.
Bless you. Well, I have worked with Valerie and Dr. Winstead and Miss Ernestine on a few projects to give to you just for you to look at and to reflect on and have questions when we come together at our work session on the budget. So if you'll open up again that folder that says 26-27 budget. So if you look at the sheet that has the color grid, this currently would be for the 26-27 pay scale for teachers, APs, principals, coordinators, and directors. If the board decides to place in an administrative scale, then this sheet would only be for teachers for next year's budget. And so we have discussed, Mr. Parker had asked to create some scales in regards to our administrators, AP coordinators, principals, and directors. And so I believe Miss Robin had asked if we could show some examples that would max out at 7, 10, and 15. And so we provided draft copies of what that could look like. If we now know that this is not in the 26-27 budget. So we're very close to sending that to you soon. When Valerie gets back, we would look at what that would look like in the budget and maybe without the budget, but we would have to also think about which one you would like to do, or would that be something for the 27-28 year? So just food to think about. And if so, then again, if we adopt a scale for administrators, AP principals, coordinators, and directors, then this scale would only be for teachers. So one of the things I do want to bring to your attention is state requires a district to specifically look at certain points on the pay scale. And that is year 0. And you know that the 26-27 year, all districts by state law have to bring their starting pay for 0 experience with the BS to $50,000. Then you will see, if you move down that scale, the state requires another adjustment for year 6 and the state requirement for year 11. So those things have to be in place for districts based off of state board requirements. Each year, districts send to the State Department a differentiated pay scale and how we do that. And so we have to let the state know. We do stipends for different things. Whatever we do above and beyond, that is noted and sent to the State Department. And so annually, you would look at your pay scale to see if there's any addendums that a district would make. So these are just things. One of the things that I think Miss Robin asked, how many principals would be affected in the pay scale. So if you would look, Lucas and I, when we were working on these today with Miss Ernestine, we don't have all of the information that Valerie can see. And so we did what we could see, but we will get you that information. So on the scale of 7 years, if you were to ask me based on supervisory positions, we would have one AP principal that had 3 years. They would start at the 3 years. One would have 5 years. 2 principals would start at the 6-year mark. 4 would start at the 7-year mark. 1 principal at the 8-year level. 1 at the 10-year. 1 at the 11, and 4 at the 15 years or above on that. So you could see just with our principals and their experience to having supervisory experience where they would fall. We didn't have access to seeing how many APs and where that would affect them, and coordinators and where that would affect them, but we can get that to you if that is what you would like. You just let me know. And if you get
Can you
this
tell
and
me
you
how
want,
many?
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, at 7 and above. Can you tell me how many people that was? I didn't get them written down.
7 years and above. 4, 5, 6, 7, 11.
I don't want to interrupt the director's report, but I have a question on those numbers, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So, that is, you're talking about the principal's position, right? We have,
Well, you know, the scale, it
The
shows
scale.
AP coordinates, shows
Right.
all of
yeah,
them.
but we're only talking, those numbers were
The only
just the
thing
principal.
we had was principal.
And I guess I'm asking, so we've had a principal who had 11 years
Yes, sir.
as a principal in our district.
Or an AP, any supervisory.
And I guess that's what I was,
supervising people
I was,
experience.
and just a little bit on, I guess, my outlook on this. I'm not against the principals, APs and principals being a higher year. There might be, as far as say the 15-year scale versus the directors being on the, 7-year scale. That doesn't bother me at all. I just wonder if when we're counting that, if you were an AP for X number of years, you move from your AP job to your principal job.
Then you get to
Then you
calculate
move-
those years of supervisory with
Okay,
your 1 year
is that
as
how
a
is that
principal.
how you're doing
That's how we thought
Okay.
that you were asking that.
it? I guess I have to look at it and see. I mean, obviously, you don't want to go down in pay.
Yes.
And that's not the intent either. I know we had this conversation a little bit. I just want to say it out loud. When we talk about the directors, well, I guess just let me clear it up. Just looking at this. I know this ain't the time. We can talk about this in a work session because I can go for a long time on it. So I don't want to interrupt your director.
So if you have questions, you can call me. Again, this is just a work in progress, and I thought, I was trying to listen to all the ask, and so I appreciate Dr. Winstead, Valerie, and Miss Ernestine getting with me to just look through what this could look like. If you have other ideas, let me know.
I will.
We went to Warren County. I took a group to see The Leader in Me and 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, the Stephen Covey and Sean Covey work, and how they did a spread across their district. if you know anything about Stephen Covey, he wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it talks about boundaries, self-care, setting goals for yourself. And so his son, Sean, I got to meet both of them when I was in Washington. And Mr. Stephen, he's deceased now, but Sean has carried out the work through adolescence. So elementary, pre-K to 12th grade. And we got to see, I took Dr. Marvin, Miss Melinda, Dr. Winstead, Kat Perez, April Killebrew. Have I left out anyone? And we went up and spent the night and had a really nice time, and then went to Warren County to see what it looked like to place the leader in me and move it all the way to 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. It was very impressive, because once the elementary students, when they met us at the door, they were shaking our hands. They had leadership teams in every building. In the middle school, they met us, they showed us around, but it is more student-led. Students could tell us about their school. Students spoke about school goals, and then they took out their Chromebook at the middle school level, and they shared with us their personal goals that they were setting for each of their classes, and then they spoke about the goals that they're working collectively with on attendance, behavior, and academics. Those were the 3 big goals. And so then after we met with the high school students, and they did a wonderful job of just leading what their school belief and culture is, was really nice to see. We went to their new $100 million innovation center. And it was you had to have a lottery to get in it, but they were doing some amazing things with CTE in their schools. And so it had the flavor of some of the things that we spoke about, but we got to tour, still under construction, that school. Now they're going to make it a school for 7 through 12. A little bit different than the vision that I shared with you a couple of weeks ago. But it was impressive. I think we're going to get together and have a think tank about what we saw, the things that were really relevant to us. But I do think the most impressive was when a 3rd grader met us at the door. I forget what her name was. Autumn. Misty was very impressed with this 3rd grader, and she was talking about their goals and how they meet them and how they work together collectively to get awards, but how they are rewarded independently with the goals that they set. And it was wonderful. What was most impressive, they had a 2-story building, and when they met certain goals or their birthday, they slid down this large slide into the library. And so we just thought some of the things were very impressive, but mostly the students were very impressive. And we love seeing the progression over time, because if you start something with goal setting, setting boundaries, self-care, and then those elementary students go to middle schools, and the middle schools and the faculty know and hear what that learning is, it just makes for better learning. We asked about their behavior, and they said it's gone down tremendously because students were taking ownership of who they were, and they self-corrected each other. We went into the Carnegie lessons. I think this one was sharpening the saw. That's really knowing and about your body, what's healthy. And the students led the class. They were the teachers in that work. And the teachers were just the proctors. They just monitored and watched how the lesson went and would walk around and listen to what the students were saying. Do any of y'all have anything to say about that time together?
We're going to go back.
We're gonna go back. We've already said that.
The Innovation Center, it will be open in August.
In August.
And completely open in January. So we'll
Yes.
get to see some, not walk around in the
We had our hard hats on. I'm going to share a picture with
But
you.
it was very good.
It was very good. And what was impressive is all the partnerships that they've acquired to help move that in the right direction. Yes. Yes.
8:30.
Yes. 8:30. Hope you can come out.
See our Dickson County students strut their stuff too.
And then Creekwood has their, it starts at 9. I'll be a little late because I'm going to open Survive the Celebration.
Just about making good choices. They do that every year as far as, driving and prom time and all the big activities that are coming up for, for teenagers and in their life to make good choices when they're doing that. Christy sent out a thrill share message just letting everyone know, inviting you, but also letting everyone know there's going to be a lot of, EMT, ambulance, lifeline, things like that at Creekwood, so don't be alarmed.
And then at William James, we have the simulation with Allison Harmon, and that begins at 11. So we're going to be moving around the district tomorrow, but very proud of everything happening for just our kids. So good things happening. And you're welcome to go to any of those events. And then when we go back to Warren County, we're going to ask that several of you go with us and see what is happening there with the Covey work and the Innovation Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have comments by board members.
You missed one.
They're not here tonight.
Okay.
The CEA.
They're not here.
We may, if if we're advertising, they're going to be here. I think they need to be here. Maybe
They sent an email that they would not be.
They sent an email today or today.
That's after we advertise our agenda. There may be people that show up that want to hear their comments, but maybe they need to either be here or get on the agenda as.
I probably should have just removed it from the agenda. I mean, it still would have been advertised, but
Yeah.
they said they would not be here. Comments by board members.
These are not affidavits. They weren't average removed.
Out of those horns, Phil.
Well, we're glad you made it, Mr. Chadwick. Any other comments? Mr. Haley?
Madam Chair, I found out earlier today that our former director, Dr. Weeks' wife, Annette, fell to a medical emergency yesterday, and from what I understand, a pretty serious situation. And I think thoughts and prayers from many friends that the time we spent with him is important. She was always very good to us. So y'all keep her in your prayers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone here tonight.
Any other comments?
I was just going to say I wasn't able to go to Oakmont last year. I got the invitation, and I am able tomorrow, and I'm good about it. And I appreciate folks that send me an email, let me know some things like that. I wish I could do both. Creekwood also.
I know, me too.
But I try to keep up with the calendars, but I appreciate the invitations. So thank you.
You know, motion to adjourn?
Oh, we have
sorry.
a brief executive session.
Right. Okay.
If we could